Our story today is about a young woman called Amara. She's from Zimbabwe. Her country has been economically crippled by decades of mismanagement and corruption, so she decided to flee. She crossed into neighboring South Africa with the hope of a better life. For a while, things were okay. She found work, tea, she paid her bills. She even started to make a life for herself. Other migrants did well too. They started businesses, paid taxes, became active members of their communities. But then the South African economy took a downswing. Unemployment rose to over 30%, and in this climate of despair, a local politician named Marcus began his campaign. He blamed foreign nationals for taking jobs from South Africans, for the shortage of housing, and for the high crime rate. He whipped up a media frenzy, and soon every Tom, Dick, and Harry was talking about how immigrants were a threat to the very existence of South Africa. And like all good politicians, Marcus knew exactly what to say to get the public on his side. He promised that if elected, he would remove all illegal aliens and give South Africans their jobs back. He also promised to build more houses and to bring down crime. In short, he promised to fix everything that was wrong with South Africa. All he needed to do was win the election. And so he went around the country, spreading hate, pointing at migrants, and telling crowds that they were the reason why South Africa had become so dysfunctional. Soon, people began to turn against them. Migrants became easy targets for people who had lost hope. Shops and businesses owned by foreigners were attacked. Homes were looted and burnt. Women and children were not spared. Mara found herself constantly looking over her shoulder, wondering if she would be next. She didn't know how or when it would end. This went on for weeks. People took the law into their own hands. The police and the government did little to stop it. One day, Amara and her friend Joseph were attacked. They were beaten up and left for dead. When Amara regained consciousness, she found herself in a hospital bed. A kind nurse told her that Joseph wasn't so lucky. He didn't make it. She decided to leave the country. As she crossed the border into Zimbabwe, a new story emerged. It turns out that migrants only make up 4% of South Africa's population. The real problems are inequality, corruption, and failed economic policies. The country's leaders have been addressing the wrong issues. Back in South Africa, a journalist named Sarah is trying to set the record straight. She is talking about how xenophobia is being used as a political tool and how the real issues are being ignored. She's calling on South Africans to unite and to remember that migrants are human beings, too. So, let's listen to Sarah. Let's try to understand what's really happening here. Blaming migrants for a country's problems is not just unfair, it's dangerous. What's the solution then? Well, that's a question for all of us. But one thing is sure, it starts with understanding. That's all for now. See you tomorrow.